Hi guys. I'm coming at you from my car, so ignore the parking lot noise. Um, I am also coming at you a day late on 9/11, and I know we have some veterans in the cohort, so I'm always grateful for you, but especially on 9/11 for those of you who fought for our country and safeguarded our future. Thank you. I loved Bot's TED Talk on daring to refuse the origin myths. Um, he reminded us that we all carry origin myths, so narratives about where we come from, our culture, our ethnicity, our religion, they have a lot of positives. They can help give us a sense of belonging and identity and security, but they're often oversimplified and they're often consolidated into a context that justifies what we already believe and what we want to be true. So it feels relevant to watch this TED Talk today on 9/11, and I actually watched it with my boyfriend who's been a Portland firefighter for 20 years, and he had some interesting insights onto what it meant to him. He's a firefighter for 20 years, but he's also Persian, and he's a dual citizen of Iran and America. And he talked about how after 9/11, the identity myths in America really became magnified. And because of his Iranian background, there was the origin myth was deeply imposed on him and his family. So it's basically equating their ethnicity to terrorism. And regardless of their lived reality, that was what it was equated to. And Bot's critique really showed how damaging this can be when a human is being reduced down to a myth about their origin, rather than seeing the fullness of their choices and their values and their contributions. So, Bot magnifies the pros of a strong humanistic worldview such as his, and I think through this class we're being challenged to look at the pros and cons of each worldview. And just like last week when we compared nationalism and individualism, we were shown that there's strength in unifying groups, and those groups might look like nations, faiths, or faith communities, or ethnic groups, and we don't have to agree on how people are divided. But one could argue that without those groups, society would feel fragmented, rootless, or lacking a common story to hold people together. So there's definitely a danger of disconnection with a worldview such as Bot's, and I can see where refusing identity myths could leave individuals isolated or rootless, especially if they don't have strong alternative frameworks like faith or culture or national pride. I think that what we really need is something right in the middle. We should respect our traditions and use identity as an anchor, but don't let it keep us trapped and unable to grow. We should honor our cultures and religions and national stories, but don't accept them uncritically. We shouldn't be afraid to question the harmful and outdated aspects of our traditions. I think that we can value our roots, our families, our culture, and our shared history, but also be aware that identities aren't fixed and they're shaped by our experiences, our choices, and our relationships. All right, you guys, looking forward to seeing what everyone else has to say. Have a good rest of your week.